It's your boy Amreezy, and I'm back with another Road to Sorare Boss episode where we follow my journey in that wonderful football game that is Sorare. We're having a great time, loving Sorare. If you're interested in Sorare, you're in the right place. Here's how we like to do it on the channel. We like to enjoy these videos with a cup of tea. So if you've not got your cup of tea ready, go make a cup of tea. Pause the video. While the video's paused, if you could give the video a like, if you could give the channel a subscribe, massive help to me. Now, unpause. Let's get on with some Sorare content. So, Premier League season finished. FA Cup done. We've only got the Champions League left, basically. This weekend is the Champions League final. I've only just started playing Sorare, really. I'm fairly new, so Champions League final, not of interest to me. I don't have a stack of Real Madrid or Dortmund players. Premier League is mainly my kind of area where I've been playing. I do have a lot of Mexican cards as well, but the Mexican season finished last weekend as well. So we've got no Mexican football anymore, no Premier League, and there's the European leagues. I think there's like one or two that have their last weekend this weekend coming. But now it's mainly about international football, unless you've got MLS cards. I've got two MLS cards, so I guess I've technically got those to play. But yeah, we've got international football. We've got a couple of friendlies, which Sorare are covering, which is quite nice. So there's a couple of big teams playing small teams in these friendlies. So there could be some really high scores this weekend. Not for me, I don't think, because I don't, my gallery is not really set up for international football. I don't have any goalkeepers from the international leagues really. And I'll talk a little bit later when I show you the cards that I've bought since last week, because I have bought a few cards since last week. One of them really excites me as a lover of Mexican football. So I'll show you which new cards I bought later. I'll also show you my lineups that I'm able to scramble together for the weekend coming. With no goalkeepers, it is a little tricky. I'm kind of just really hoping that everyone smashes. So we'll see how that goes. This part of the season for me is not really, I'm not expecting much really. I'm mainly just preparing for August, getting my gallery ready, looking for bargains, and I'll show you which ones I've got so far. But let's start this week's video by looking at how I did last weekend in the world of Sorare. Okay, here we go. This is how I did last weekend in what was May the 24th to the 28th. It was a disaster, an expected disaster, very low scores. Like I said earlier, not expecting much for the next couple of weeks. Maybe, I am looking at some goalkeepers for next season. So if there's, say, a goalkeeper who's going to be playing the Premier League, Championship, or the Mexican League, if there's a goalkeeper that is at a good price that also just happens to be playing in Europe, I'll buy them. But I'm not going to be paying. A lot of the prices of the players of the Euros have gone up. So I'm kind of hoping after the Euros, or when those teams get knocked out of the Euros, I'm hoping the prices come down on those players. So I don't think I'm going to be buying much before the Euros and really targeting. And to be honest, I think the Euros and the Copa America, they kind of suit Sorare managers that have lots of cards already. I think if you're buying cards, especially for the Euros, I don't know, it just feels a little bit like you're paying higher prices. You're kind of chasing a competition. We don't really know how it works. For example, if you pick a team that's in the group stage, they do really badly, they get knocked out. There's only 3 games that you've got them for. And, maybe that's worth it for you. Maybe you do really well. But for me, I've got to pick my battles. I'm still fairly new. I feel like I can't take constant risks. So for me, I'm spending what budget I have on preparing for August. And I don't think it's responsible for me to kind of go crazy for the Euros and then not have enough budget left over for the Premier League. And I don't really want to spend too much in the Euros and then spend a bunch of Premier League cards. So it's not going to be for me. So I'm going to expect a couple of weeks like this now where I haven't won a reward last weekend, as you can see. Nothing midweek as well. My under-23 league, I threw in Yacine Adli, the AC Milan midfielder who I won the weekend before. That was the last card that I won, so I threw him in straight away. Mainly to build his bonus points, but there are some now rumors that he's going to be leaving. I've seen a couple of teams rumored with him, a lot of champion teams within the champion region of Sorare, so I could still get some good use from Yacine Adli next season, so that's quite exciting. João Felix at Barcelona, we still don't know where he's going. I put him in again to build that XP, build his bonus points for next season. It seems like he's not going to stay at Barcelona because Barcelona weren't playing him. And also Barcelona are in such a financial mess right now. I don't see a way where they can afford to buy João Felix after his loan ends. So I don't expect him to be at Barcelona next year. So I'm excited to see where he goes, excited to see where Adli goes. Ravic gave me a really good score. He's finishing the season really strong. So he's just come back from injury. He's giving me some really good scores. So I'm excited about him for next season. He's really young. He also is which league is he? He's in Challenger. I still get confused with the regions, but I think he's in Challenger. So I don't have many cards in his region. So he could be a really good defender for me in that region. So I'm quite excited about him for next season. And then Alan Minder, not a great score from him, and the goalkeeper didn't play. So nothing to get excited about from the under 23s. In the capped leagues, we had Quinones. Now let's just talk about Julian Quinones, America. So he played the final game of the Liga MX season, which America won. They beat Cruz Azul. And Quinones was involved in that. Now, after the game, Quinones was interviewed on the pitch, and he basically said, like, he's leaving. And all of the rumors are suggesting that he's going to go to the Saudi League, which is horrible for me. I only bought him a few weeks ago, and now he's off to the Saudi League. So terrible. I have really bad luck with strikers in Liga MX. My other big striker before Quinones was Preciado at Santos. He got banned from football, so he's now left Santos, and the future doesn't look good for him. Quinones, I bought a few weeks ago. Now he's leaving, it looks like. So I thought about selling him, but his price is so low now because everyone knows that he might be leaving. So my theory with him is I just got to keep him. He is in the Mexico national team for the Copa America. So in the future, I'd like to have a Mexico national lineup for these international breaks. I've got a couple of midfielders. I've got a defender. I just need a goalkeeper. And I don't know who the goalkeeper is going to be for Mexico. It could be the America goalkeeper, Malagon, but it's not nailed on. Basically, Ochoa was the Mexico goalkeeper for years and years and years. He's finally been left out of an international squad, so he's not going to be playing for Mexico in the Copa America. So that's an interesting position. If it is Malagon, it might be worth me buying him because he's the America goalkeeper, so he kind of helps with my Liga MX collections. And if I can get a nice little Mexican stack going for the national team, it would mean keeping Quinones is kind of worth it because if he plays for the Mexico national team, along with the other cards I have, it might be worth it. And also, maybe Saudi League gets in Sorare. Maybe in a year, the Saudi League is on Sorare. If it is, then I've got Quinones and he might be doing really well in the league. So I'm keeping him even though the future doesn't look good for him in Mexico. The other cards were Omar Campos and Atuesta at LAFC. These are the two MLS cards I have. So for the remaining couple of weeks, I may be able to squeeze some lineups out where I play my two MLS cards at LAFC. And then I've got a couple of players in the Euros. I've got a few defenders. I've got a few strikers and midfielders. Goalkeepers will be the problem. So I may have to just play the capped leagues with a DNP goalkeeper and then play four guys that could all do really well. Try and scrape some rewards out like that. But yeah, it's bleak. It's bleak times for my Sorare club at the moment. But yeah, this is how the 270 did. The 240, nothing. The 220, nothing. Oh, Cesar Azpilicueta, Chelsea legend, doing it. This sums up Azpilicueta in a lineup full of nothing. He still puts in a good shift. 76 score from the captain, so happy with that. So I'm interested to see what happens with Azpilicueta, by the way. He may leave Atletico in the summer. And I think he's got 1 or 2 years maybe left in him. I really hope he goes to an easy league. I hope he goes to the MLS. I hope he goes to a league where he can get some bigger scores and play regularly because he's not been playing regularly for Atleti this season. And I mainly got him just to help with my Chelsea collection, but it would be nice if I could get a bit more usage out of him for maybe 1 year more. So yeah, that's how my capped leagues did. That's not what's exciting me at the moment in the world of Sorare. What's exciting me is buying cards for next season and picking up a few bargains where I can. So these are the cards that I've bought since last week. I think the last card that I showed you that I bought was Marcus Bettinelli, the goalkeeper for Chelsea, or the third choice goalkeeper for Chelsea, which I bought for 50p just to help out my Chelsea collection. Since then, let's go through the cards that I bought. Mason Mount for £3. Again, helps with my Chelsea collection. That's the first reason why I bought this card. Reason number 2. Call me crazy, but I've got a feeling Mason Mount might surprised a few people next season. I think if Manchester United changed their manager, Mason Mount's one of those players that a new manager comes in and goes, okay, let me try and revive this guy. Let me try and get this guy playing, get this guy's form back up, get his confidence back up. Because the problem with Mason Mount is this year he had so many injuries and then was in and out of the team a bit. And when he got back from injury, he wasn't really playing. So I think he needs a good summer resting, come back next season. Maybe this is a nice little punt for next season. Maybe Mason Mount gets his form back. Because when Mason Mount's playing well, he's taking set pieces, he's creative, he chips in with goals, assists. I think if Manchester United can get the best out of Mason Mount next season, this could be a really sensible purchase. If not, it helps with my Chelsea collection anyway. So this was a bit of a no-brainer for me getting in Mason Mount. Then I bought Jared Bowen. Whoa, crazy zoom. Then I bought Jared Bowen twice. One for £8, one in an auction for £9. I kind of did it by accident, I'm going to be honest. I kind of put an offer for this for £8 and or bid for this at £9, and I didn't really think any of it would be accepted. I thought there's no way, because he was going for about £12, £11 was his kind of selling price. So I thought both of these, I thought this would get outbid, and I thought this wouldn't be accepted. They both got accepted, and nobody bid higher than me after this. So I've got 2 Jared Bowen cards now. And I did think about selling one. I thought maybe I can sell one, but I actually think I might play with 2 Jared Bowen cards next season. I've looked at like my plans for next season, like what possible lineups, and forwards is a tricky position for me. If you've seen my videos before on the channel, forwards have been a bit of a problem for me. So I'm really trying to counter that next season by making sure I've got good forwards. And I think if I'm going to be playing the Premier League Classic and Champion, I can use cards from the Premier League in Champion. And I don't have any forwards in the Champion region apart from João Felix. And he's kind of hit and miss, really. We don't know where he's going to go. So 2 Jared Bowen cards I quite like. I could play one with a few West Ham cards, and I could play one maybe in the Champion card or play them with someone else. So for now, I'm going to keep 2 Jared Bowen cards with my idea that I'm banking on West Ham doing well. I'm really backing West Ham. I've got a nice little stack now with Ward-Prowse, Zuma, Bowen. I've got my eye on Kudos and the goalkeeper Areola. So if I can get that, and then West Ham do really well, I think Bowen's card price could go up next season, and then I could sell one of them. But for now, I think I might just keep the 2 of them. Unless I sign other strikers, in that case, I'll sell one of the others. So I bought Bowen, and then... oh, this is a bad one. Matty Cash. I bought Matty Cash a day before it was announced he got injured. So I bought Matty Cash with next season's Premier League season in mind, but also with the Euros in mind, because he's playing for Poland at the Euros. So I thought, if I can put together maybe a few cheap cards for the Euros, maybe I can put a few lineups out for the Euros. So I bought Matty Cash at auction for 90p, nice and cheap. I also had next season in mind in the Premier League, where he's a very attacking defender. So I quite like Matty Cash as a player. I did have the Euros in mind. I bought him, and I think 2 days after I bought him, injured. Not going to be in the Euros. So what can you do? Another card that I bought for next season was João Gomez from Wolves, £2.12. That's a good deal, right? That's a good deal. I've been seeing him around £5, £6 lately. So to get him for £2.12, I thought was a great price. A really good midfielder. And I bought Pedro Neto. I think, when did I buy Pedro Neto? I bought Pedro Neto last week. No, 2 weeks ago. Pedro Neto. Now I've got João Gomez. Nice little mini tiny Wolves attacking stack developing. Possibly. Let's see how Wolves do. If they do well, I've got João Gomez. I've got Pedro Neto. It's looking good. So he's one for the Premier League next season. I bought David Fofana, another one for my Chelsea collection. But also a lot of rumours that he's going to be moving or going. He spent last season on loan at Burnley and didn't really hit the ground running. I think he needs to go to an easier league. I think playing for a team in the relegation zone of the Premier League wasn't good for him. He needs to be maybe in the Championship, maybe in a weaker European league. So I'm hoping he gets a move or plays for Chelsea. I mean, sure, if he turns out to be a great player and plays for Chelsea's first team, brilliant. But I think that's unlikely. So a loan move might be likely. Let's see where he goes. He's an under 23 card as well. So if he gets a good loan move, He's an under 23 striker, and I'm having problems with strikers, especially in the under 23 league. So if he can get a good loan move, I'm really banking on that. And also what I like about this is the card is the number 2 of 1,000. I think it's the lowest number card I've ever had. So I quite like that as well. And he helps with my Chelsea collection. So even if he doesn't really get a good move, helps with the Chelsea collection, which is coming along nicely, you know. I might show you next week how my Santos and Chelsea collections are doing and which cards are missing, but it's safe to say I'm filling in some missing holes. And then the big one, this is what I'm excited about the most. Santiago Jimenez, Mexican striker, young Mexican striker, under 23. I can play him in the under 23 league. He's been killing it this season, had a really good year this season for Feyenoord in the Eredivisie. Basically leaving, almost certainly confirmed that he's going to be leaving Feyenoord. I've read a lot about how they're already looking at strikers to replace him. There's a lot of clubs interested in him. Even Chelsea have been rumored to have him. He's a striker. Chelsea need a striker, so that would be amazing for me if we got him. However, there's also rumors that Liverpool might be in because the new Liverpool manager next season will be Slot, and he managed Jimenez before in Eredivisie. They've worked together, so they have that connection. So there's lots of rumors that he's going to be leaving and going to one of the big teams. He's got a lot of hope. He's in the Mexico national team as well. So it's another Mexican national team player for me. Maybe if I can get that goalkeeper in the next week or two, I've got a nice little Copa America squad for Mexico. Let's see how it goes. But I'm really excited about this guy because I've been watching him for a while. As someone who loves Mexican football, as someone who I have, family in Mexico, and they're always talking about him because he's the kind of golden boy at the moment for Mexico. So delighted to get him. And £9 I think is quite a good price. He has been on the market for about £14, £15 lately. I saw him drop to like £12 and I got excited. Got him for £9, so that's really good. And then the last card that I bought is Doria, who has been my favorite Santos player since I've started watching Mexican football. He's been my favorite Santos player every season. He's now leaving Santos. So the reason why I didn't get Doria in the past is because Santos have not really been great. The defense hasn't really been great. So I always thought he hasn't really scored well for Santos, even though he's been Santos' best defender, probably Santos' best player in total. He's got everything. Pass, takes a free kick now and again, long range shots, wins tackles, headers. He's got it all. He's now going to be a free agent. It seems like he's not going to renew his contract with Santos. So he's going to be moving probably on a free transfer to anyone he wants to go to. So all of the big clubs in Mexico want him. There's a lot of rumors that America want to sign him because they have a defender. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce his name, but it's like Lichovsky, something like that. They have that centre back on loan from Tigres. So the rumors are that he's going to go back to Tigres and they're going to sign Doria to replace him. If that happens, he's going to be getting much better scores than he was at Santos. So I think with that in mind, with my kind of inside knowledge on how he plays football, I think he'll do really well at a better team. So for 59p, I think that's a really good deal. He's also a really high level, this card. Level 13. He was a level 18 when I bought him, but you lose a few levels when you buy a card. So he's a high level card as well, level 13. So I bought him because I love him as a player. Even when he leaves Santos, I'm going to love him. If he goes to a better team, I think he's going to be a nice scoring Sorare card. So those are the cards that I bought from since last week. Quite a lot of cards there, but this is what this time of the season is for me. I've still got, this is my budget left that I've got until August to spend. I've kind of allocated that money for me to spend, and I haven't bought any goalkeepers yet. I need to buy 3 Premier League goalkeepers and maybe 1 Liga MX goalkeeper. So I need to buy 4 goalkeepers, maybe 1 Premier League striker. And I need to also see who Chelsea sign because I've got such a good Chelsea collection now. If they sign a really big name in the summer, I think I need to fork out and buy that card. If it's someone like Osimhen, if it's someone like that, I need to buy them because with my Chelsea stack, that's going to be a great card. So that's what this remaining budget is going to be used for. I'll show you next week who the latest cards I've been buying for. But basically, I've got a list of players on my scout list and I'm just checking the market constantly, waiting for them to like dip in price. And then I'm swooping in. So those are the cards I bought. That's how I did last weekend. Let's take a look at what lineups I'm able to salvage this coming weekend. And ladies and gentlemen, here we go. These are the lineups that I'm able to scrape together for the coming weekend, which is May. That's it, not March. May the 31st to the 4th next month. So, no goalkeepers. No goalkeepers. So, cap 270 is like, these are the best 4 cards I have. And I've put them with a goalkeeper not playing. So, if they all do really well, maybe I've got a chance of scraping maybe like one of the lower tier cards as a reward. Let's see. If not, we're building experience. We're building the bonus rewards for next season. So I'm going to be playing Andy Robertson as my captain because Scotland have got a very nice game against Gibraltar. So Andy Robertson against Gibraltar should be a nice game for him. I've got Kovacic, who I don't usually get to play Kovacic because he's never like guaranteed to be playing for Manchester City. But for Croatia, I'm hoping that he plays. They've got another good game against North Macedonia. So here we've got 2 kind of teams playing maybe easier fixtures. So we could get some good scores from these 2. Then I've got 2 Mexican strikers. I love having these guys. Santiago Jimenez and Quiñones. So I don't know which one's going to play. Quiñones for America plays on the left wing. Even though he's kind of a striker, he plays on the left wing for America. So maybe he'll do that for Mexico too. So I'd really like to see Jimenez playing as the kind of guy up front, as the main guy. Quiñones on the left. That's what I'd like to see. But because these are friendlies, we also don't know if any of these guys are going to play. With it being a friendly, maybe the managers want to try out other players because these 4 guys are all pretty much big names for their countries. So maybe maybe none of them start. Maybe they're all on the bench and they come on for like 30 minutes. But I can't play that game because they could all start and all do really well. So that's my best lineup. These 4 guys and a DMP goalkeeper. I've put together a bit of a team for the 240. Omar Campos is a defender for LAFC. He's got a game in the MLS. Jordan Carrillo is another Mexican player, but he's not in the Mexican starting lineup. However, with it being a friendly, you never know. Maybe he gets a start. Maybe he comes off the bench and does well. Who knows? Quarta at Fiorentina, hoping he bounces back from the disappointment of them losing yet another Conference League final. Fiorentina lost to Olympiacos yesterday. I really like Fiorentina. They're kind of my Italian team that I root for. So I was disappointed to see them lose. So hopefully they're playing Atlanta. So maybe they bounce back with some determination and he does well. And then I've got Jared Bowen, who is in the England squad. It's the provisional. What's provisional? That's the word. It's the provisional England squad. So the squad will get trimmed down for the Euros. But for now, he's in the England squad. I do think he won't make it to the full squad. But maybe he gets a chance to kind of stake a claim for a starting place, not a starting place, but a place within the squad for the Euros. So I'm putting in Bowen in here just in case he comes off the bench maybe and gets a goal. And then the 220 is similarly, I've got Bowen again, Luke Shaw, who's been injured for a while, but he's in the England squad. So will he play? Will he come off the bench? You know, if he's in the England squad, and I think he's the only proper left back within the England squad, he's going to need to get some minutes to build his fitness back up. So maybe he gets a game, and it's an easy game for England against Bosnia. So let's see. And then for the same reason, I've got Conor Gallagher in the team. There is a bit of talk about who's going to start in England's starting lineup with Declan Rice, Bellingham, and then who's going to be that extra guy. It seems like it's going to be Gallagher or Kobe Mino. So Mino or Gallagher, who knows? I think it'll be Mino maybe, but Gallagher, I think Southgate does like Gallagher. So if he plays Gallagher, I put Gallagher in here just in case. So those are my kind of 3 semi-serious lineups. This is the only one that I think might get me a reward. Let's see what's going to happen. I'm going to be scouting the market this coming week, looking for more bargains. Let me know in the comments, as always, if you've got any tips for me, especially if you've got any tips on players that I could be buying, any cards that you think, check this guy out, Amreezy. He's cheap, especially if they're playing in the international tournaments this summer. If there's a cheap-ish goalkeeper playing in the Copa America or the Euros, that's what I want to know about. Otherwise, good luck with your coming game weeks. I'll see you next week. Peace.